Okay, great. Um, we had more people the last time. I guess people don't want to know how to register their expired excluded listings. Um, so as a clear cooperation went into effect May 1st, 2020, and through clear cooperation, you cannot not put something on the MLS if it's been publicly marketed. That was a double negative, I know. But clear cooperation says that it must be on the MLS. You can exclude it. And if you exclude a listing from the MLS, you cannot market it outside of your own brokerage. Even though I'm the broker for 4 offices, every one of those offices has a different corporation and a different DRE number. So what that means is you cannot share between offices. So if you're going to exclude it, you can exclude it, but it has to no, that's wrong. Sorry. It has to only be marketed within your own office. Let me start sharing. Hold on. Okay. All right. So CRMLS. Well, it used to be, let's go back to CRISNet. CRISNet with SRAR would have you send the first to last page of the listing agreement and the SCLM. CRMLS does not make you supply the paperwork. What they do is they have you what's called registered. It's only visible to the agent and to the broker. So you all should have see in front of you the registered listing process. Okay, registered as a listing is a process. It's not a status like coming soon, active, pending, active under contract. Those are all statuses. This is a process. CRMLS Rule 7.8 mandatory submission requires that listing brokers to submit their listings to the MLS within 2 days. Now, CRISNet was 2 business days. It is no longer business days. It is 2 days. So if it happens to fall on a weekend or a holiday, it's still, you have to get it in within those 2 days. Excluded listings require a valid exclusion form signed by the seller. Exclusion forms do not need to be submitted to a CRMLS. Instead, using the registered process in CRMLS allows agents and brokers to submit listing contracts that are being excluded in the MLS in compliance with Rule 7.8. Now, a lot of people think just because on the listing agreement, there's a box saying exclude this from, the seller says to exclude this from the MLS. That is not sufficient. You need to have an SDLM, which CAR has their own form. They have an SCLM, or excuse me, I gotta get used to this. CRMLS has forms on their website also. If you go to their website, crmls.org, there is a box that says forms, I believe, and that is where you can find this form. So you still need to get these forms signed. It's just that you don't need to submit them anymore. Okay. Registered listings are not in the MLS. Therefore, these listings are not seen by anyone other than the broker, agent, office manager, or CRMLS staff. Listings are ineligible for public marketing per clear cooperation. The listing broker does not publicly offer commission. Days on market do not accrue. The listing broker and their agents can only give showings to the broker's own clients and those agents within that brokerage. This is what NAR approved clear cooperation policy 8.0 is. Within 1 business day of marketing a property, the listing broker must submit the listing to the MLS for cooperation with other MLS participants. Public marketing includes, but is not limited to, flyers, yard signs, digital marketing on public-facing websites, brokerage websites, including IDX and VOW, digital communication, email blast, multi-brokerage listing sharing networks, and applications available to the general public. This policy only affects the residential vacant land or lots, or residential 1 to 4. Anything above four units, it does not apply to. Clear cooperation does not apply, but you still have to exclude and do all that. No marketing and advertising to the public. What is considered marketing? As we just went over, it's signs, it's websites, it's social media, it's our brokerage website, communications, verbal or written, multi brokerage or franchise listing, flyers, written material of any kind, or doing an open house. That's public marketing. And I want to stress communications, verbal or written. You should not be talking about an off-market or excluded listing to other agents in other brokerages, or to or send emails about it to other agents and other brokerages. So who is the public? The public is any individual or entity that has signed within the previous year an AD, which is a disclosure regarding real estate agency relationship form, identifying the listing broker or an agent underneath the same designated broker. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Identifying listing broker, or 2, an agent underneath the same designated broker shall not be considered a member of the public under this. Okay, so anybody outside of this is considered the public. If you have an AD form with a client, and how do you get an AD form? You have previously written a lease for them. You have, within the last year, you have previously written an offer for them. You have written a listing agreement with them. The very first form with these things are an AD form. Now, if you meet somebody at an open house and you want to start working with them, and you want them to be considered not part of the public, they want them to be considered a client, have them sign an AD. That makes them a client of the brokerage. So, there any questions about that? Nope, not here. Okay. Nobody's waiting, right? No, okay. Mandatory delivery or submission. Seller sign. The seller signs a list. There's 2 ways of how the effective date. The seller signs a listing agreement. If the property is never marketed, the listing does not need to be placed in coming soon or active. Then 2A, listing broker has 2 days from the effective list date to input the listing into the MLS, either as a registered, a coming soon, or an active. Per clear cooperation policies, within 1 business day of publicly marketing the property, the listing broker must ensure that the listing is in coming soon or active status. So that means if you have something excluded, and this happened at one office, it was excluded, and somebody made a mistake and sent a blast out to other brokerages, that listing has to be submitted, it has to be placed on the MLS within 1 business day. Now, that's the only thing that's a business day with CRMLS. Everything else with CRMLS are calendar days. So if you publicly market it, you have 1 business day to put it in the MLS. All right. What is the effective date of a listing agreement? So it's either the date of the last seller's signature or the start date of the listing agreement, whichever is later. So if the listing agreement starts on October 5th, the seller signed the listing agreement on September 20th, then the effective date is October 5th. But say the contract says October 5th, and all the parties didn't sign it until October 6th, then the effective date is October 6th. Okay. So the listing is required to be either in the registered, either registered or entered as coming soon or active from that effective date. Differences between registered and coming soon. Registered has no public marketing, not displayed on the MLS, no days on market, no distribution through the MLS, showings only to the listing broker and client, and a form is required, the SCLM or CRMLS's own form. And once again, registered only can be seen by the listing agent, me, the broker, or office managers who have access, and MLS. Coming soon, marketing is allowed, a commission is offered, compensation is offered, no days on market accrues. There are no showings with CRMLS, just like with ChrisNet, there were no showings. And you have 21 days maximum to be in coming soon. And a form is also required for coming soon. And CRMLS has that form on their website. Who can see coming soon listings? All CRMLS users can see it. All right, so how do you create a new listing agreement? So when you sign on to the MLS, you see this, you have a dashboard. And on that dashboard, it says CRMLS resources. And looking to see if that's where, and you see this RE Center Hub. It was formerly called Listing Toolbox. So that's where you need to click on under CRMLS resources, RE Center Hub. And then next it brings you to this page, and it has member or office settings, product settings, registered listings, training, and listing distribution. You may see listing distribution. I have a bigger listing distribution page, but anyways, you will click on registered listings. So once again, RE Center Hub, then you click on registered listings, and then you're going to click on new. Now, this page shows a whole bunch of other registered listings that this agent has in their website, or that had previously been registered. So you're going to click new, and then it's very little information you have to put in. The property type, is it residential? Is it lot? what kind of what type of property is it? Is it residential income? The list price, the listing contract date, and then if you were instructed not to market it for 2 weeks, say you're doing pictures or you're doing something, you're not going to be marketing it, then you would put the date that it's going to start marketing. If you don't want to market it through the entire listing period, then you would click on the box directly underneath it, and it says no start marketing date. Seller instructs broker not to market the property to the public, and that box is checked. So, and then the next thing is the expiration date. So that's the only information that you need to put in there, is what type, the list price, the contract price. Are you marketing at some date during the listing, and then the expiration date. And then you would click on, you guys are blocking, next. All right, so, and then the next thing is the listing agent information, and the if there's a co-listing agent, that information. Then you hit next. All right, and then you're going to get a page where all you have to do is confirm all the information that you've put in, and then you say save. This is going to be a fast class, guys. Okay, so then now you have your registered listing saved. Now, say you didn't want it marketed through the entire period, but then your seller decides, yeah, I want to market it. So you would need to go, or no, sorry, back up. Say you wanted to start marketing it on May 1st, but then things are taking longer, you have to push that. So then you can change that date by clicking on the little pen and changing the date, and then saving it, and then it will be updated. So that's, or you're changing the price, or you're changing some things. Now, whenever you're changing something on a listing, I want to make sure that you're still being instructed, number one, by the seller to do this. Number two, you're getting the proper paperwork in order to do this. And what's the proper paperwork? It's the modification of listing. So, so you would have to do a modification of listing to change the date, the start marketing date, or to change the price, or anything that whatever you're changing within that listing, even though it's registered and it's not being seen on the MLS, you still have to make those modifications. Okay, so now is the example when you're not marketing it through the whole period, but then the seller says, you know what, I want to get the most bang for my buck. I want to get it I want to get it out there onto the MLS so everybody can see it. So how do you move it out of registered onto the MLS? So it's that little green paper airplane thing that says, to send it to the MLS. So you click on that, and it's going to ask you to confirm that you want to send it to the MLS. So you say send to the MLS, and you will receive a confirmation message that will indicate the system has sent your registered listing to the MLS. Now, the registered list, and this is what it will say. Now, it may take 20 to 30 minutes to process this. So, don't worry if you don't see it there right away. but I do want to say it just doesn't go suddenly appear on the MLS, because what happens is this now becomes an incomplete listing in your ad edit. So you go to ad edits and then you look for this listing under an incomplete listing. And then, because remember, you only put a few little things in the MLS. Excuse me, you only put a few things to register it. Now you have to create a whole listing. And as we know, there's a lot of information in that listing. So, so now you choose it from your incomplete, and then you go through the same steps that you go through all the time in order to add it as a new listing. And you can see it can go in as coming soon or as active, and then you just go down the line as just like a normal listing from that point forward. Now, take a screenshot of this if you want. This is some resources that CRMLS has on their website regarding registered. They have they are, I don't know if they're doing another class, but I've done it and this has been recorded, so you can just play this back. If you want to ask questions directly to CRMLS, you can email them at compliance@crmls.org, or you can visit the compliance resource page, which I can go back really quick and show you. Wait, let's see. It would be right. Where are we here? This is CRMLS resources. So you can go to education, you can go to support, compliance. They would all have information regarding registered. So let's go back to this. There we go. And so does anybody have any questions on how to register a listing? I see it. Do we need to upload any documents? No, you do not. That's the thing with CRMLS. They don't want to see your documents. All you have to do is go through this process, and your listing is properly excluded. Now, at any time, you need to be aware that CRMLS may say, we want to see your exclusion. So or your listing agreement and your exclusion. At any time, the MLS can ask for these documents, but they don't want to see them up front. So any other questions?
Rich, I just want to confirm. So we're only doing the registration if we're doing an off-market listing, not if it's a coming soon listing, correct?
Correct. That's
Okay.
correct.
So we don't need to
Coming
do any of
soon,
this. Uh-huh.
no, not for this. You have
Okay.
to enter it, but CRMLS, know that CRMLS has their own form for coming soon. So you're going to want
Oh.
to let me see. Let me stop sharing this. Wait, no. Stop sharing. Okay. Let me see. Hold on. Wait, I'm holding. Sorry, I'm just looking for maybe it's when I log in. Hold on. All right, let's see. it's tough to say because and let me share this so you can see what I'm looking at. Um um you see here that ChrisNet has their forms and their compliance resources. So we haven't really went over to CRMLS. My guess is they're going to be the same. This page is going to look the same. So you would click on this form, and it would bring you to the forms that you needed. But until the switchover happens, I really couldn't tell you. But for coming soon, you will have to use a form, a coming soon form from CRMLS.
Okay.
Any other questions? It's
So
really
the
not. Oh, go ahead.
so for SRAR, once it merges, it's just gonna be CRMLS. That's what it's gonna be from here on out.
Right. It SRAR exists as the association, but SRAR's MLS was ChrisNet. Now it's CRMLS. And this brings up a good point, because on your listing agreements, if you're an SRAR member, there is that one question on the listing agreement, is that this is going to be on the MLS, and it asks you to name that MLS. And so instead of putting ChrisNet, you're now going to have to put CRMLS. So that's just the only thing. So yes, the MLS for SRAR is now going to be CRMLS.
And logging in is gonna be the same exact thing.
Login is you're not gonna see a difference in any of that. You really aren't, because here's the thing: CRMLS for all these years has been our vendor. So it's been run under their system. It's just that we hired them to use their system, kind of rent their system. So it's going to look the same. It's good. Nothing else is going to be different, except now you have to register, and now they have a couple of different rules. And one of the important rule is that they're not on business days; they are on calendar days. So whereas you had 2 business days to act on one thing, now you're talking about calendar days. And an important thing is photos. That's one of the biggest violations on the MLS, is people do not put photos in the MLS. ChrisNet gave you five business days in order to do this. CRMLS is only giving you 2 days. So you have 2 days to put in a photo. Now, but they're taking my pretty pictures in a week, and I can't do this. Too bad. You need to put a photo in, and just go outside. These things, they take photos, and take a photo, put it on the MLS. You'll get your pretty pictures in when your photographer gets them to you. I know it sucks, but that's what you need. You need one exterior photo. So make sure you do that. Okay. Any other questions? I am not seeing any. So thanks everybody for joining, and I will see you later. The next class is in 2 weeks, I think. Wait, let me look. On the 26th. I don't know. Send me, send me ideas of what to teach. I'm always looking for what to teach. So let me know. This was important for SRA members because we're switching over on May 1st. So I want to make sure you guys have that information. So anyways, thanks for joining, short class, and it is being recorded, so it will be available to the offices. Thank you.
Thanks, Rich.
Thank you.